Are you tired of all the dating games, rules, and societal norms that make falling in love confusing and stressful?
Then join us as we ditch the script and empower you to establish healthy, conscious relationships.
This weekly podcast breaks down popular dating reality television and educates you on healthy versus toxic dating habits.
I'm Brianna, a licensed therapist.
And I'm Alex, a trauma-informed and certified narcissist recovery coach.
Are you ready to ditch the script?
Oh my God.
I love it.
Yo, if you could hear the sounds I'm making over here, it's kind of hilarious.
Sorry, I think my clock's a little bit behind yours, but I didn't unmute fast enough. What were you saying? I was trying to figure out what you were saying. You said everybody.
Everybody dance now.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah, that one.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, Jax, that's my song, Bubba. That's not a toy.
Oh, but isn't it a
He
toy?
got so sad. Go the pumpkin. Go get the pumpkin, Bubba. Or Darth Vader. Okay.
I want people to know
that's what I
that
was singing.
I want people to know that Jax has either seasonally appropriate toys or Star Wars toys or a bong.
Or a bong. Yes, he does have a stuffed bong, which with fresh greens in the bowl piece. That was a gift from my boss. Actually, there's kind of a funny story. So my old job, my two bosses are like two of my best girlfriends. And so they very much know that I prefer cannabis over alcohol. And so Alicia got him a stuffed bong and we would leave it in the office. Now, here's the funny part. We're like working in the office willy-nilly, whatever. And the corporate director of people, like from global properties, decides to just stroll on into the office. And Jax is there and walks up to her with his stuffed bong, like, oh my God, new friend. And I'm over there like this, like, oh my God, like, what does it say in our employee handbook? Am I going to get like written? I was tripping. And so I was like, I'm sorry, Jen, like, it's a bong, like, is that okay? Like, I can take it away right now. I'm so sorry. And she was like, you're fine. And I was like, yes, we're safe.
We're safe.
But yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. And then he has a lamb chop. That's the one, like, miscellaneous
Gotcha.
toy.
Lamb chop, or like a seasonal, like appropriate,
or Star Wars
or Star Wars. The end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lamb chop or a bong are like
What about Tucker?
consistent ones.
What are his toys of choice?
So
Tucker's toys of choice.
That's a really good question. Well, we have outside toys and we have inside toys.
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant.
I know. I have outside toys that because he needs to like run, like I don't know what in his nature causes him to want to chase, hunt, and demolish, but that is his purpose. He wants to
his
run.
OG wolf genes.
Yeah, he wants to run and hunt, but then he wants to like hunt and then like play on his back. So not really sure what that's about, but so I have this thing called a flying squirrel outside, which is basically kind of like a curved fabric, like frisbee, but it's not in the shape of frisbee, but it kind of it acts
like a sugar
like
glider vibes.
Exactly. It kind of looks like a spread out sugar glider. And so we use that and he chases that a lot. And inside he has a stuffed alligator, but he only likes to bite the tail, but he loves that. He has a couple bones that he finds interesting every once in a while. He has like a Kong that like would otherwise have treats in it, but it does not. And he finds that interesting every once in a while. I got these lacrosse balls to like roll out the bottoms of my feet, which is like a feeling of euphoria.
Dancer thing.
Yeah, dancer vibes. And he finds that interesting every once in a while. He's hard to like entertain inside. Inside entertainment is tough. Oh.
Yeah.
You know what he has? Because I don't buy him a whole lot of new toys because he's interested in them for about 5 minutes and then he's over it. But last year I got him, it was Halloween time, but I didn't want to get like proper like classic Halloween stuff. So instead I got him a bunch of toys that are from like the Willy Wonka world.
Oh my God, so fun.
Yeah. So
what
that
a vibe.
I love. Yeah, he has like one of the like the blueberry girl, but like in blueberry form.
Love it.
and he has one Oompa Loompa that he's like the arms are ropes, like
Yes,
twisted ropes, and one of the arms are like untwisted.
that's
Um,
cute.
there is like a golden chocolate bar,
Yeah, I
um,
got the
which
golden
is
ticket. Mhm.
exactly, and it's like just a square. It's just like a rectangle. Um,
Word.
but he loves it. And are there any else from that era? No, I think that's it. He loves those. He also
Word.
has a lamb chop.
Yes, lamb chop is the OG dog
Fave.
whisperer, I've decided. Yeah.
What is that about?
I don't know, but it is a thing. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like every dog owner I know has a lamb chop in some way, shape, or form for their
Is
pup.
did you have a lamb chop in your youth as a kid?
No.
Huh. But for some reason it's
No.
nostalgic for you?
Well, I mean, the skidamarinky dinky doo, skidamarinky,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Come on now.
That's so
Like,
cute.
we all know it. We all know
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
True.
I didn't have one in my youth. I didn't have a lamb chop dog toy for my dogs growing up, but I don't know. I've been gravitating in my previous relationship, I got Django,
Hmm.
my partner's dog at the time, like lamb chops for every season. Like there was a Christmas lammy, there was an OG lammy, there was a other kind of lammy. And so when I
Oh,
got Jax, I was like, we're getting you a lammy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Sort of like
so
a sibling baton passing.
almost, yeah,
Yeah.
but they're the best. Like for some
Yeah.
reason they're great toys for
Yeah, I
the
don't know
little
why they love
doggies.
them. They
They
love
do.
them. Although the lamb chop that Tucker has he used it a lot when he was a puppy while his teeth were falling out. So that lamb chop in
Mm,
particular smells really bad.
yeah, this one probably does too. Like, look, she's missing an ear.
Oh,
Like,
she's like a
she's
proper lamb chop though.
she's been sewn up. She has a lot of stitches. She's been sewn up
Oh,
here. She's been sewn up. Oh, I can't. Oh, here. She's been to quite some surgeries, but she's holding up.
she looks
So
good. She looks good
proud
for
of
her
you.
age.
Proud of
Yeah.
you, Lammy.
Well,
Anyway, um,
you have
so
updates for me.
oh my God. Okay. So, you guys, if you tuned into our episode last week, Love is Blind After the Altar, we were talking about obviously all the relationships, but the one that irked me the most was, of course, Jackie and Josh. And I was
Yeah.
like, this was hard to watch. I really hope she figures it out and leaves. Well, we are happy. I am motherfucking stoked to be sharing with the world that these two have broken up. Mazel tov.
Mm, Mazel. Yeah.
Yay! They
Yeah,
broke
that needed
up.
to happen. And
It really
also
needed to happen.
I didn't see where this was like broadcasted because Jackie had done like a live on a social media or it was a video that has been deleted or something. I tried to find it and I couldn't find it, but I saw a tiny clip of her talking about it in the way of like she was like, honestly, I'm pretty low key upset about it. Like, I really love that man. And what I mean, I wish that I got to see the whole thing to have more context, but what it's telling me is like she's not in the place of enlightenment about the relationship. Not yet.
No,
I don't know
no.
if she'll ever be there, but
I was gonna say that next. I was gonna be like, congratulations on your breakup. Now go to therapy. But I
go to
don't think they're
therapy.
gonna do that. Don't think, I hope
Yeah.
so. I hope I'm wrong. I really want to be wrong about this one. But I'm also nervous that they might get back together, which I hope doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to stay focused on the present. And right now they're broken up and I'm happy about that. And now we're just going to put the go to therapy juju vibes out into the universe, the
Go
matrix,
to
and hope that they
therapy,
do that.
Juju. Connect with your
Yeah.
friends. Hang out with your friends.
Yes. Yes. Work on
Get back in
yourself.
touch with
Make
get back in
Jackie
touch with
happy.
Monica. Yeah, Jackie, get back
Yes.
in touch with Monica. Hang out with actually this is not rocket science, it's not a hot take, but like post breakup, if you're feeling the like depths of your loss in it, it's incredibly valid. And the best thing that you can do is like reconnect with your friends. If you were already in touch with your friends, amazing. Then they'll be there for you and they'll be like, yes, make plans with me. I like if you're feeling vulnerable in your loneliness, like let me be there for you. If you have done the thing that all of us have done at one point or another, which is like really disengaged from friends when you're like kind of obsessed with your partner or like going through it with your
Mm-hmm.
partner, It's
Mhm.
okay. Reconnect with them anyway. Trust me, they will want to hear from you. If they have feelings, give them space to express them. That's probably fair. And then,
Yeah.
and then, but like, don't let the fact that you were disengaged keep you from re-engaging, because
Re-engaging.
this is when we need to call in our natural supports and our community.
One
Period.
hundo. Um,
Period.
yeah, so they broke up. I'm stoked about it. Now, I want to mentally transport you over to Puerto Vallarta at the Bachelor
Oh
in
no.
Paradise
Oh
shack.
no. Oh no.
Yeah, because another couple who broke up, and I was sad about this one, is, are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Michael and Danny broke up.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
You guys, why can't people make it work?
Yo, especially these two, because they were so like emotionally mature. Now, I will say this, because I found out about this morning, like approximately 2 hours ago, not that long, because I was on Danny's stories and she just wrote on her stories and was like, yo, I like, yeah, Michael and I broke up. I wasn't planning on like my breakup being announced on this podcast, because I guess Michael went on Jason Tartick's podcast, which BT Dubs, Jason and Caitlin Bristow broke up, which shattered me because I loved them. I've loved,
Aren't they
yeah. They
married?
broke up a while ago. They were engaged. Yeah. And they've been
Oh,
together for a very long time. So I was like super bummed that they split, but they split up a couple weeks ago and made it public. And I
damn.
really feel for them. That sucks. Apparently,
Damn.
Michael went on Jason Tartick's podcast and mentioned, he was like, I'm just going to own up to it. Like, Danny and I aren't together anymore. And so I guess
Mm,
Danny was like taken aback by like, that
damn.
was how, because
Well,
I
and
guess they
now
did. Yeah.
people are going to want to get her take, and she probably wasn't like ready to. They should have talked about that if they didn't. That sucks.
Agreed. Yeah, and so she just said on her story, like, because this also involves a child, like, give us the respect and space we need. And like, I want you to do the same for Michael. And but she was like, this wasn't a mutual breakup, is what she did say.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you think happened? Pure speculation.
Honestly, pure speculation based off of this wasn't a mutual
Nothing.
breakup. I think Michael's like inability, I don't want to say get over Laura. That sounds so shitty. Like he's heartbroken because his wife, who he was head over heels in love with, passed away from cancer. Like
Yeah.
valid, understandable, but I have a feeling it's something to do with that for some reason. Like
I think he's in a flight response constantly
me too.
when it
Yeah.
comes to vulnerability and intimacy.
And relationships. I think he's so scared to like go the distance with one because of how it felt when he lost that he is like hitting eject, to quote you, jumping ship to another relationship or to being single when something is going on. And
Yeah.
so they were together for a while. Like she moved to Ohio to be with them
Yeah.
and she's staying in Ohio. Like she did briefly talk about that. She's like, I'm excited to continue to build my life up here in this city, no matter how I
Wow.
got here. Yeah.
Huh.
So I'm really proud of her and how she handled it because she said, like, ooh, this, I wasn't expecting to go about it this way, but this is what happened. People are reaching out. This is the deal. Please respect me. Please respect Michael. Like there's no animosity, even though it came as a surprise to her. Like she's not out there being like, how dare he, blah, blah, blah. But I was really bummed because I feel like those two are a solid match. And if I am even close to being right with Michael jumping ship because of green grass is greener syndrome or like that
Or
fear
also
to
just
like,
like grief.
right.
Grief can be really like, I don't mean this literally, but like funny in this way, where grief can make you feel like, if I'm doing this, if I get closer with this person, is this being disrespectful to my previous partner that I
Yeah.
lost? Am I replacing them? It's tough. It's really it's all
So
valid, but
tough
it's like worthy of like working through, or like
through.
exploring with a therapist, a grief
Yeah.
counselor.
So I'm really saddened by that because I loved them together. I thought they were great
Hmm.
and it makes me sad.
Hmm.
So that's the
Yeah.
other update I had.
I'm I wouldn't be surprised if they like got back together, especially if she's gonna be living pretty locally. but who's to
Yeah.
say?
Who is cue Vanessa Carlton's song, Who's to Say? Yeah.
You know who we didn't really update about, but we should probably mention just in this conversation is the fact that, I mean, this is obviously way, way, way old news, but you and I haven't talked about it, which is Brandon and
Serene.
Serene.
I was also sad about them breaking up.
Me too. I mean, I do think that they were a little so like we love each other, and like it was really like young love, but they did feel like the most believable like y'all are in it couple that I have seen on that show.
Mm,
They really loved each other. I wonder what happened with them.
yeah. I'm always curious to know. I think it might be a challenge because I think part of it is like like you go out and you get hit on all the time. People are chasing you all the time. So sliding into your DMs all the time. So I think
Mm,
there might be a lot of distraction, a lot of noise around the relationships these people get into.
yeah.
And I also think with brand deals and traveling for or work situations, I think that can impact people, especially if they don't live close to one another or take that, you know. I think I don't know jack shit, but here's a hypothesis I'm starting to come to is like when these people meet on these shows and they don't live close to each other naturally, like
Hmm.
already, they
Hmm.
meet in these bubbles of these reality shows and start to build their life in a way where they're being scrutinized, everything's being watched, the cameras are on them all the time. So they might even be posturing in a filtered version of themselves because of that. And then if they don't continue in a, for lack of a better way to put it, but keep that momentum up of like seeing each other regularly and like outside of the show where there aren't cameras and they really can like start to nurture and establish a foundation to a relationship, like it's gonna fall apart at the seams.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying that like all these people should move in together, but I think being in closer proximity and having the ability to see each other in a more natural setting outside of the shows is important as quickly as possible after getting off of these shows.
Yeah,
You know what
you
I mean?
kind of have to you have to integrate your relationship into your lives pretty quickly in a different way than like natural civilians would have to. It's like when
Yeah.
you're not a public person and you're dating someone in your city, you can take the time to actually build your relationship at a slower pace. For them,
Yeah.
it's like you got to kind of move quickly but carefully, but also like establish such a firm foundation to not let all of this crazy bullshit disrupt you.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that is what is lacking in all of these relationships is that really super solid foundation. And so it's icky. Maybe another piece of it is as well as they're falling in love in these very like romanticized bubbles, like traveling the world, having these really huge
Right.
dates, or like being in Mexico where like all your food and liquor are covered and you're just hanging out on the beach and in a really cool pool all the time and still getting to go on cool dates. Like, I do think that when reality sets in, people, if they don't have solid relationship skills and tools for their relationship, it's going to fall apart at some point. And I think that that's what we're seeing here. And it's fucking heartbreaking. It really is. Cause it's like, you guys are fully capable. And we've seen some really awesome matches come out of these shows. But that just
Yeah,
goes to
be
show love and chemistry are not it. That's not enough to sustain a relationship.
totally true. We say this all the time, but also it's like it's the fandom that is also incredibly toxic.
Yeah.
Um it's like I think like yes, the attention and it's sort of like all of the things that they're offered to be thrown into for financial purposes and also to benefit our sustained interests and entertainment feeds this vicious cycle of willing the social media beast, to be afoot. And people are so loud. So, like, people on social media are so loud in which they are going to comment on your photos when you're like posting a picture about your bagel sandwich that you ate in the morning. And people are going to be like, why did you break up? Blah, 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 blah. I don't believe in love anymore. It's just like, wow,
Yeah.
wow. You know the saying,
And
go
that's
touch
all.
grass? Go touch
Yes,
grass. Go
for real.
outside.
Yeah. Because it's like, well, and going back off of what you just said, like, I don't believe in love anymore. For anyone out there, like, putting your belief system in something else is always going to come back to bite you in the ass. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you need to believe in love for one, how you define that, because that's different for everybody. And two, if you're always like, I'll only believe in love because, I don't know, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have the most amazing relationship ever. The second that there's any faltering, or if they break up, which I hope not because they're an adorable couple, but let's just use that as an example, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be fucked. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, we can't do that. And I'm speaking from
Mm-hmm.
experience because I used to be that person that was like, oh my God, this celebrity couple, that's what I want. They're amazing. And like, the second they split, it's like, well, who is going to make it if they can't make it? And then it's like,
Right.
what kind of vibe is that? That's like almost literally signing up for self-sabotage. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
nah,
Yeah.
not the vibe.
Nah. Okay. Thank you for giving us those gifts. I appreciate that. The
You're
updates.
welcome.
Yeah. Okay. So today's kind of like it's just Alex and I chit-chatting
Yeah,
because we are
shoot the
ramping up
shit.
to we're shooting the shit because we love each
Excuse
other
me.
and this is our time to be friends online. And it's
Yeah,
time for you to benefit from us being friends online. And so you're
yeah.
welcome.
So, wait, before we jump into everything else we're going to talk about today,
Yeah.
Golden Bachelor starts
Yeah.
this coming Monday, so we'll start unpacking it next week.
Yeah.
Or did I get it wrong? Okay, cool.
No. Wrong. They start September 28th.
Okay,
And the
cool.
28th is that Monday? No, like it's Tuesday.
No, that's
No,
Friday.
it's Friday. So we'll start unpacking it the
Thursday.
following week.
Cool.
I love that we just have like DTS meeting minutes like on air.
Yep, 100%. You
This is
guys
what
heard
we're
it
able
here
to do.
first.
Yeah,
So,
right.
watch The Golden
Welcome.
Bachelor with us and tune in.
I'm excited just because I don't know what it's going to be like, and I'm excited that I don't know. And it's not so
I feel like it's
predictable.
gonna be, I feel like it's, okay, there's a part of me that feels like it's not gonna be too much different than what we already see.
Of course, there's a formula
Yeah.
there.
I feel like, well, I feel like we're going to see a lot of emotionally immature people, which is going to prove, because I say this all the time. Like, people think, like, oh my God, like, men who are young, like, they're so stupid. And they assume that, like, older men have it together. Yo, I literally have had conversations with a 73-year-old man who's playing the field. So, like, it doesn't get better with age necessarily. And so,
Mhm.
and like, okay, look, he was like being honest about himself playing the field, which is great. But my point is like, I think we're going to see some of that, like some emotional immaturity, some like manipulation, whatever. And I also think we'll see a lot of emotional maturity and
Oh my
healthy
God.
communication.
Totally. Dude, I was out on the golf course with my dad last Friday and there
Yeah,
was
she was.
literally yeah, I was. Working on my friggin' swing. Um and there was a guy like my dad was teaching me who's like giving me a lesson. And there was a guy my dad worked the context for people that are not you. My dad works at this golf course and so he's like bopping around like picking up balls, like getting ready for us to get set up. And he knows a lot of people that are just playing because he works there. And this guy made a comment to him, and I didn't hear him, and I didn't ask to hear what it was because I don't want to fucking know. But he said something to my dad, and all I hear my dad say is, "Watch it. That's my daughter." And I was just like, wow, y'all are disgusting.
For real. Ew, that makes me want to throw up so
I
bad.
know, and I felt so bad for my dad. I was like, and I
Yeah.
didn't ask about it. I
Watch
was
it. That's my daughter.
yeah, he was like
Ew.
he goes
Oh.
careful, that's my daughter. It was like a true my dad it's my dad's got this like this clever way of being non-threatening but also giving like a steady warning of like I'm being
Stern. Yeah.
friendly with you right now, but also I need you to understand what's going on here. Like careful what you say because this is really fucking I don't even think my dad's like pissed off. He's like, don't be weird. Please don't be weird. Please
Yeah.
don't be weird. Um And I just like had a moment, and I wanted to talk to him about it, to be like, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with like the shittier sides of like men in their environment like this. And but we didn't talk about that. What we did talk about was like the way in which he knows that the cart girls are often treated,
Oh,
like the bar cart girls.
yeah.
And my mom, because my mom had said to me, she was like, "Why don't you get a job doing like the bar cart service?" I was like, "I will literally punch someone in the face. I
Right.
can't. I will punch them. They're
My
gonna
eyes
be,
are up here.
yeah, they're gonna be disgusting to me." And I don't think that I'm gonna be able to hold back, and I will get someone else, some other poor soul who works here, in trouble because a member or a customer wants to, thinks that they can treat women this way because they've always been able to treat women this way in this role, in these environments. I was like, I literally can't handle it. I will punch someone, and then someone else is going to get in trouble for my behavior. And my dad was like, yeah, he was like, the things that these girls go through is actually really fucking awful. It's disgusting. And I was like, thank you for saying that. Can you do something about it?
Yeah.
Please.
Now, Dad, can you take it a step further and be like,
Yeah, can you be an
any
ally?
member who does the following, immediate revoking of
I
your membership
know.
or whatever it
It's
is. Like,
But think about it.
bolo reports for you.
And I know that this is off topic, but it's just like female experience. Think about it. Think about the environment. This is like a true environment designed for and catered to men. It's a golf course. This is where all of their shittiest qualities literally come out to play,
Do you
you
think it's a
know?
golf course or do you think it's a strip club? I feel like it's worse at strip clubs because they're like they even take off the rules even more. It's like, well, you're dressed like this and this is your job, so I can touch you however I want. And it's like, no, bitch, no, you
Yeah.
can't. Sit down.
I
Sit
think
down.
it's like I think it's like not that the women are operating in their roles in the same way in this environment, but the how men behave. It feels like a golf course is like a daytime strip club. Like it's strip club in the
Oh,
daylight.
yeah. With like,
It's just like,
yeah. Ew.
yeah, yeah,
And I
exactly.
want to make space. I feel this is like my girlfriend part coming out right now. I'm like, my boyfriend's an avid golfer and goes
Yeah, yeah,
all the
yeah.
fucking time. And
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
do want to say that there are respectable humans who golf and don't
Yes.
treat people that way. I feel like
Yes,
I need
thank
to
you.
say that. But
No,
I
I'm
also
glad.
completely agree with what you're saying, and he probably would too. He if he was
Yeah.
here having this conversation, he'd be like, absolutely.
Yeah, let me say that my lens comes from my dad working at a private club for his entire career.
Right.
And I think that the behavior of an older generation of men working at private
Yes.
clubs where they are so fucking entitled is a very different kind of behavior than like younger generation of men, like playing at public courses where that you got to pay to play, shit like that.
Right.
Not that private clubs don't pay to play; those memberships are tuition essentially.
Yeah.
However, because they pay tuition and because they are members, quote unquote, they are disgusting. And I've personally experienced them being disgusting in that environment
Amazing.
for my whole life. And so I just get a little, and then I have a moment like that at a public course, and I'm like, it's still happening. I'm
Still.
upset.
Yeah, well, and you should be like, and so
Yeah,
should your
it's
father.
gross.
Like Jesus.
It's
Oh,
gross. But you're right. There
so
are not all men do this. Some men just, they do the regular thing. They go have a 6-hour hobby that
right.
is not disrespectful to people who work there. Maybe it's a little neglectful of errands that they have at home and their shared home with their partner. Maybe sometimes, but otherwise, they're just playing golf.
They're just playing golf.
They're just
Oh
playing golf.
man, I would have. Yeah, proud of your father for not decking somebody in the face. He
Oh my
would
god. Well,
have
he
if he had
can't.
said it
He
again. Yeah. No,
No, he can't.
he
He
can't.
can't.
Yeah,
He
but
can't
just because
because
he
he's
can't
because he
doesn't
works
mean
there.
he wouldn't. If that person kept making comments about you, you'd been like, "Look, I told you once, I told you twice, and now
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
gonna get Mister
yeah. You're gonna get
Fist."
it.
Yeah.
I think he would have threatened him in a way that was like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
fucking report you.
exactly. Yeah, I'll revoke your membership if you don't shut it.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna fucking report you. Okay, so not what we came here to talk about. Surprise. we're gonna just like do a little bit of like how are Alex and I both showing up in our respective relationship spheres with intention and just process
Yeah.
and learn.
Yeah, totally. Oh, and I'm gonna yawn that out real quick as I drink more English breakfast tea, wishing it was
Yeah,
coffee.
yeah, I know. Are you like not drinking coffee? Is that a thing?
No, I ran out of coffee. I need to go to the grocery store.
Oh, get the girl some cough.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love English breakfast tea, but the caffeine is not the same as a cup of coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Okay,
how
so
are we showing up?
let me ask you, as a person in a relationship, um, that's been going on for just about 6 months now, how, like, how are you showing up intentionally? What are the things that you're focusing on for yourself in this space?
Um, God, so many things. Well, one, I am OCD. That's technically not true. OCD, I think, has this like, we all say it like, oh, I'm OCD about this, because like we're trying to say I'm very intentional or this is a non negotiable for me. I think people say that like
Right,
I'm obsessed with, and it's not the
which is
proper use
not
of it.
OCD. Yeah.
No.
Good
So,
call.
one, I'm going to just say that. I'm going to call
Yeah.
myself and everybody else out who says that
Uh-huh.
on it. So there's that. But I've been very intentional about making sure my self care is consistent AF because one, I have more of a social life now that I'm dating this person, which means my social battery is being taxed more. And so
Mm.
I need to really prioritize my alone time and like come back into self and like check in with my part. So, one, I'm doing that. Two, I'm paying a lot of attention when I'm around him and like enjoying him of the different insecurities or stories that come up with really subtle triggers. Like
Mm.
I haven't been like severely triggered. There's one time which you got a phone call about.
Yep.
And that wasn't anything to do with him actually. It was all to do with
Yep.
me and some of my shit coming up. Um but other than that, like these triggers have been so minor because this person makes me feel really safe emotionally, physically, sexually, all the things, which is beautiful. But there
Yeah.
have been some very subtle, like, oh, what's coming up here? And like, why is that coming up? And what is the story? And what are the feelings? And so I've been paying a lot of attention to those clues. I like to call them, it's like a clue on a trail. Because
Mm.
what I'm learning is like, about myself is that there's still like some wounds left over from my previous relationship that without me realizing in the moment till I get curious about whatever's coming up that are still impacting me. And so the majority of it is anticipating overwhelming my partner with my needs.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it also stems from, when I say it like that, I'm like, that also stems from childhood too. But this person has never said that I'm too much. Like, my boyfriend's awesome. Like, he's never been like, that's too much. I'm not going to do that. Like,
Yeah.
none of that has ever happened.
Yeah.
But when I go to speak up, whether it's something like making a request for something I want to do, someplace I want to go, or making a request for something that I need or would like within the relationship, I have felt my chest get tight, my throat start to close, like a little bit of that shakiness come online when I'm about to do that. Or even if it's over text, I'm waiting for a response.
Mhm.
And so I think like for me, this relationship has been like, I was just talking to you about it, so great. But it's really provided me an opportunity to go even deeper into this work because I'm not dealing with these like really intense, like, oh my God, I'm anxious, like these huge emotions that are bubbling up type triggers.
Mm.
They're way more subtle.
Mm.
And because I've been able to go, like I do the line of work that I do, like I'm able to pay attention to them more. But what's great is I'm working through them in real time without
Yeah.
him even noticing. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
So
That's
does
cool.
that answer your
Yeah,
question?
of
I
course it
feel like
does.
that
And
was
no,
go ahead.
what did you feel like it was?
I felt like it was super like boring. Like
Why do you feel like it's boring?
because I feel like it's so analytical or so like self-analytical that like I don't know. I also think I also am concerned to make sure that I'm communicating
Yeah, like
I'm
being clear.
communicating it in a way that makes sense to the people listening so they can also adopt these things because it's self-serving in the long run.
100%. Well, and like I hear what you're saying, but I appreciate that it is sort of like expressed in this um kind of like using clinical language to make sense of what your process is like or to describe what your process is like, even though if people knew what it was really like, it's an incredibly emotional experience that you're like engaged in with presence,
Right.
throughout, but you're just describing while you're not in it. And
Yeah.
what I appreciate about it is like you're providing a little bit of a window of like what it can be like to have an anxious attachment style, to be provided with the opportunity to be with a securely attached partner, to be working towards establishing a securely attached relationship with this partner, and being responsible in your own side of what comes up for you. Never like while you're not denying the fact that there are things that come up for you, that there are things that make you anxious, there are things that trigger you. But like we talk about this a lot, you're not just telling your partner that made me feel really anxious and now I need you to fix it for me, or I need you to do
No.
something different for me, you know?
No.
You're like you're taking responsibility for it in the ways that you can, and then you include him in on it so that he knows what you're going through, but so that he can know what you're going through, not necessarily do it for you.
Yeah. And sometimes he doesn't even know. Like
Right.
there was one like earlier this week when we were making travel arrangements to go up to Santa Barbara for this thing and all this stuff. We were on the phone and I was like, "Okay, why am I feeling anxious?" Like I literally said that out loud to him. I was like, "Let me like okay, I'm feeling anxious. Why am I feeling anxious?" And then I was able to be like, "It's because I'm making a lot of decisions really quickly and I'm the type of person that likes to kind of sit down, look at the board of
Be
life, if you
thoughtful.
will, and
Hmm.
see like how I want to move the pieces, but I didn't have time to like analyze in the way I usually do. It was like I need to make a decision and I need to make a decision right now.
Hmm.
And that provides a lot of anxiety for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because there's this fear of like, what if it's the wrong choice? And so, for example, that came up. It wasn't anything he was doing, it was because we were trying to coordinate travel arrangements. So, like, that I let him in on it. I asked him, like, he listened to me literally say all of that out loud. Like, he didn't even contribute, but he was there, he heard it, and he could understand, like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But then it allowed for him to just be aware. But like Bria's saying, like he didn't do anything to make me unanxious because he wasn't even the one making me anxious. It
Yeah.
was just the circumstance we were in.
Yeah.
And then there are times where he doesn't even know what I'm
Yeah.
feeling in that way. And
Hmm.
it's me it's me taking care of me and maybe sometimes I'll let him in on it, but it's really an exercise for me to show up for myself in the relationship and to be very aware of like even something as far as like am I silencing myself? Like okay, for example, here's one.
Yeah.
I have a fear of smothering my partners. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like it's well, let me say this partner because I don't feel this is something that's shown up consistently in past relationships. But I
Hmm.
really care about this person. We just started saying I love you. And so there's
Hmm.
moments where I say it and I'll maybe even say it back to back. And then I'm like, "Oh my god, am I smothering him?" And then I'll start to
Hmm.
tell myself this story like, "Well, now you don't say it until he says it to you because you've said it twice
Hmm.
today already and you don't want to
Hmm.
annoy him. So stop talking." Like these are those things that come up. And so in the moment, I'll start paying attention to the thoughts. I'll start paying attention to the feelings, which very much is like in my chest. And also, I kind of pop out of my nervous system where I feel not as in my body when I start to get heady like that.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so I start to say like, okay, well, what's the fear around that? If I say this, will he is it turning him off? Is it pushing him away? And sometimes I'll even just straight up, am I smothering you? And he's like, no, say it more. And like,
Yeah.
but I can get there because of the awareness I have. And then there's also times where I'll have those thoughts come up and I say it anyway because it's like me pulling away just to make him come to me is manipulative. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I'm going to say it because I want to say it. And if he has a problem with it, he can let me know. And that's never the
Yep.
case. But like,
Yep.
that's a great example of like in real time, what am I feeling? What am I thinking while I'm around this person? And he doesn't necessarily hear me say, like, walk through all the steps like I just outlined, but that's what's happening in my mind and body in real time when I'm around him.
Yep.
So I hope that was a good example.
A great example.
Great.
I loved it.
So I'm glad you loved it. I'm curious about you, babe, since you've
Mm.
been
Mm-hmm.
single, focusing on yourself, maybe
Mm-hmm.
dating, but not really
Mm-hmm.
dating. What are
Mm-hmm.
you working on?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
I just
mhm,
have only been able to say
mhm,
mhm.
mhm, mhm.
It's so interesting to be what I call a career single because I have gone through I've gone through so many different professional stages of singlehood. Um, and what we recorded and discussed 2 episodes ago, I was like, I haven't even been thinking about dating, which is still kind of true, but I'm shifting my focus because dating is oftentimes this outlet for me to get in touch with my sexuality. And lately, when I've been dating, my relationship with my sexuality has been really good, where in the past it wasn't always that good. So that was really exciting. And I forgot that even though I've been in a really good place with my relationship with my sexuality, um, not dating anyone means that I might not have that direct catalyst to engage with it.
Mm,
So I've been really busy and I've been running around and I've had a lot of different competing priorities. And it's been interesting because my relationship with my body has been very like, okay, self care for the purpose of fueling the body to fuel the tasks, fuel the body, fuel the tasks. Have this body carry you through all of the tasks because you have so many tasks that if you don't fuel the body, you will literally
you're
fucking
fucked.
collapse. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So all the while I've been like, okay, cool. Like we're still making food at home. We're still eating. We're still like drinking water and we're like, it's trying to sleep as much as our dogs will allow us to. And like, okay, no problem. Like we're going to the gym. Like the body is being cared for and therefore it's still alive and kicking and doing all of the things but it's a very disconnected relationship with my body when it comes to my sexuality.
Mm,
It's been very like my sexuality has been absent.
yeah.
And so I'm toying around with the idea of like, okay, does dating fit into this? And it really just doesn't right now unless it happens a little bit more naturally. Just don't have the
Right.
time to like date intentionally. So I was just like, I had this moment where I was having a conversation with myself. I was like, well, that's if I like operate under the assumption of like, okay, well, I can only be in touch with my sexuality if I'm dating someone. I was like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. And a
And
lie.
also, yeah,
100.
exactly. Not even true. It's not even true. So it's like, how can I how can I nurture my relationship with myself, my sexuality without having it to feel like without having the pressure of being like, okay, and you need to date someone as well. There's a
Mm,
tier of this that like I think what would be really great would be able to have my ideal situation in this moment would be like have a casual sexual relationship with a person that I feel really safe with that like I can like quick make a like make time for in the times
right.
that like I'm available. But again, that I don't have that established connection and I'm not going to go back in my Rolodex to try to establish it. So
Right.
um it would have to be a new connection and like I said earlier, I don't have the time for that. So really what okay, if that's not a possibility or on the table right now, what else is? And it really just leaves me like with myself, which is not a bad alternative. It just requires to like prioritize it and like prioritize it along with some of these other priorities.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you comfy sharing with us some of your like practices to make that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. And so I haven't started to engage with them in practice yet. So I'm going to refer back to the things that typically help me feel this way. That includes like first of all, like being clothes that make me feel sexy, which like what I'm currently wearing is not it. You know, it's like being in like a big baggy t-shirt and sweatpants is comfortable and necessary for the things that I do here, but it is
Yeah.
not helpful. It takes me out of my body instead of into it.
Yeah.
So dressing up, being intentional and getting out of the house, and like looking a way that makes me feel good or at least feel connected. Sexy is subjective. Um, I
Yes.
don't mean like sexy in that I wear a thing that like is like attractive to men.
No.
It's like
Doesn't need
what
to be
makes
lingerie.
yeah, exactly. That's not happening. But what makes me feel connected to myself and allows me to step out into the world in a way that feels like
Yeah.
it again, but my confidence is always here whether I'm connected with my body or not, but I want to be back in my body. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
So I'll also do this at work when I go work at the bar because while the bar I have to wear like a bar shirt, but it's like let me tie this shirt in a way that like makes me
Yes.
feel like myself. Let me pair it with bottoms that make me feel good. So I'm still trying to like be really intentional about how I dress, but at the in the at home stuff it's like masturbating, but also like taking photos that I keep for myself and put in a hidden folder, spending time in the mirror, and something that's a little bit more accessible when I feel a little bit more connected. Or no, I'm sorry, that's easier to access what before I feel connected is putting music on and dancing. It's not even
Yeah.
like sexy dancing; it's like just dancing, dancing.
No.
Um,
Yeah.
those are
Freeing
my
the
things.
spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have others
Love it.
that you do?
Oh my God. If I'm being honest, like every almost anything where I put myself and my needs first contributes to me feeling sexy. So it's like
Oh,
taking my time with my skincare routine, taking my time to do my hair, a bubble bath, a perfume that smells, or a body spray that just is like a really like it, when I have it on and I have that wafting smell, it's like, ooh, that's me, you know?
yeah.
Um, Yo, I joke about this, but you know, if men hit me up if you feel like this with the boxers y'all wear, but like women, ladies, those who identify as female, when you wear cute undies, you walk different. You're like, I know what
Mm.
my undies look like. They're new. And like,
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but like that there's certain fabrics that feel really like you almost can hardly feel it. So it's like, it's just like when we have cute underwear on, we carry ourselves differently. It's a thing. So
Mm.
even something like that for me, taking the time to like file my nails and maybe put a clear coat of polish on, like all of those little things contribute to me feeling sexy. The other thing is candles, yo, for me are such a vibe. Like if I even just have one candle on in my space, there's something that feels really romantic, intimate about that, even if I'm alone.
Yeah.
And so it's like making it a vibe. And
Yeah.
like you said, like taking photos for you. I think too often people are like, I can only take nudie pic. Like, what's the point of taking nudie pics if I'm not sending them to anyone? But it's feels so fun and empowering to like, and even if you take like 10 and you end up not liking any of them, the act
Fine.
of like getting cute and like or just being in your undies and like exhibitionist type like vibe of it all is so intoxicating in a good way that like why not
Yeah.
do it,
Oh my
you
God.
know?
Yeah. I, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this here before, but like taking pictures for me is like the amount of pictures that I take, none of them are seen by other people pretty much ever because I try not to wait for me to be dating someone in order for me to justify taking photos. Also,
Mm,
if you take photos whenever you want to take photos, then you're dating someone that wants a photo of you. Guess what you have on deck?
yeah.
Pictures. Guess what clothes you get to stay wearing? Sweatpants.
Yeah. Exactly.
Period.
It's so true. And like the energy in which, because like if someone asks you for a picture, then you're like, oh, I have to do this. Like that, almost that like energy of like, well, now I need to get up and I need to take the sweatpants off and I need to figure out what am I going to wear? What am I going to do with my hair? Like, is my face going to be in it? Is my face not going to be like, there's all these things that come up. But it's like that energy is going to carry into the photo you end up taking and sending. Whereas
Yeah.
like when you do it when you're feeling yourself and you're like, my butt looks great in these undies. Let me just click, snap that real quick. Like that confidence and that energy of like carefree, like I just happen to be looking fire is going to also come through in that photo. So,
Yep.
it's like do it for you. And there's so many things that like we didn't even tap into here, like different things that you can taste or smell. Like there's so many ways that you can play with your own sexuality on your own. Have fun. There are no rules. Experiment with
Yeah.
yourself. Know what you want to try, what you will try, and also you learn what you don't like. Like for me, I'll be super honest here. I do not like menthol based like cooling lubes on my
Mm.
girly bits. Like
Mm-mm.
absolutely
Mm-mm.
not. I can't. There are some women who love it. Warming lubes and stuff down there, 100% great. Let's go for it. But there is something
Mm.
about like cold menthol type that I feel like I peed myself. Like it's not sexy for me. But I wouldn't
Oh,
have known that if I hadn't tried it at some
tried.
point.
Yeah,
And so it's like we get to play, we get to experience ourselves and then allow someone in on that world instead of it being like my sexuality is yours. That I think is bullshit.
totally.
You know?
No, it's
Yeah.
always your own. It's like it's always your own, and sometimes we have the added benefit of what someone else helps bring out of it. Bring out bring it out with us. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's always
Yeah.
ours.
Yes. Ours to play
Mhm.
with, ours to own, ours to create. Ugh, it's a vibe.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
vibe. What are we ditching?
What am I ditching? Mm, I guess based off of my own experience, what I'm ditching is silencing myself because of any like, oh my God, what are they going to think? Am I bothering them? Bullshit stories that come up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ditching
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm not doing that
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
I love that.
Me too.
Yeah. Be aware of the narrative.
Be aware of the narrative and do it anyway.
um, I am ditching okay. I'm ditching the voice that can oftentimes creep up in my head of like the insecurity that I feel when I'm not seeing someone. It can oftentimes
Mm,
like reinforce this loneliness itch.
yeah.
And it's not loneliness that ever really drives me to go like meet up with someone. It's loneliness that just actually deepens my loneliness and makes me feel like it adds to an unworthy limiting
Mm,
belief.
yeah.
And sometimes it starts with the reflection of, oh, there isn't someone sharing the space with me, and I'm not sharing my sexuality with someone. And that makes
Mm,
me feel like it doesn't exist. And when I feel like it doesn't exist, it feels like it goes to waste. And when it feels like it goes to waste, it makes me think about loneliness.
oh,
So I know, but also thank you, self reflection and therapy and good friends for being able to like,
yes.
I really like, I'm so familiar with that pattern in myself now because of it. So I can like talk about it in a way that's like, okay, that's what I believe is happening. That doesn't mean that's actually what's happening, you know?
Right. Yes.
So I'm ditching, I am rebuking that. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm carrying on with the fact of like I get to cultivate like what feeling sexy means to me regardless of
Hmm.
who is invited. And when I decide to invite someone, it's because I really fucking want them to be there, and that is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. It's a
Yes.
vibe. It's a
Yeah.
privilege.
Yeah, that's right. Um
Yeah. Word.
okay. We did it.
We so did
Success.
it. Good for us. Pat on the back.
Pat on the back. If you are enjoying our podcast, please go to our show pages on Apple and Spotify and go rate and review us. It helps other people get to know about it. Follow our Instagram and TikTok pages at Ditch the Script Pod. Go to our website if you want to ask a question or apply for a free mini session. That is at www.ditchthescriptpod.com/podcast. And I guess that's it.
That's it. That's all she wrote.
That's all she freaking wrote.
Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.